Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ryan here. I hope you guys are having a great day today. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the biggest winners and losers so far of this NBA season. This video won't be specific to just teams, as we're going to talk about players, coaches, and more as well. But we're just about to the halfway point in this NBA season, and I feel that it's time that we give our kudos to the winners and our sorrows to the losers. If you liked today's video and ended up watching it all the way through, feel free to give it a like. But without further ado, we're going to start today's video talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder and more extensively Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Coming into the season, the Thunder were a pretty polarizing team to discuss. Many people were high on their long-term outlook, with SGA continuing to improve every season. However, many people looked at the team as a squad that was missing a piece or two before really competing with the big dogs like Denver in the Western Conference. ESPN's preseason projections had them winning 45 games, while Bleacher Report had them winning only 40 games. As of the recording of this video, the Thunder sit at the 2 seed in the Western Conference with 27 wins in their first 40 games, with SGA playing at a bona fide MVP level. Props to guys like Chet, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, Isaiah Joe, and the rest of the gang, as none of the team's success is possible without their improvements this season, but I want to talk a little more extensively on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. While I'm sure Sam Presti was very high on SGA before the Paul George trade, I'm not sure that he or the front office could have foreseen the exponential growth that Shai would make in such little time. OKC notoriously has made many trades over the years, dishing out veterans and players that didn't quite fit their timelines, and in turn acquired a treasure trove of picks and young players, as at the time the front office had anticipated a long-term rebuild that could potentially see many seasons of losses before real progress would come. However, when you enter a rebuild with a player at the caliber of SGA, odds are the rebuild will probably be a little ahead of schedule. Now in year 5 of his OKC tenure, Shai has a team that is truly a contender in the league and should be taken very seriously. If you ask me who the MVP is of the league at this very moment, I would probably say that it's Joel Embiid, but there's a lot of season left, and especially with the new 65 games played requirement for winning major awards, things could get interesting the back half of the season. Shai is averaging 31 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, all while shooting a career-high 55% from the field, lowering his turnovers by almost a full turnover a game, and leading the league quite convincingly in steals per game. All this to say, I believe SGA is a close second behind Embiid, and will be right there with him the rest of the way. Especially if OKC can find a way to snag the number 1 seed in the West. It could definitely sway the narrative in the MVP discussions. The OKC Thunder and SGA are huge winners in the first half of the season. Following up our first winner of the season, we have to talk about our first loser of the season. And I know it's beating a dead horse, but we cannot mention losers without mentioning the catastrophic season the Detroit Pistons are having. I won't make this section as long as the OKC portion, because every one of you watching this video hears about how bad the Pistons are daily, but what an absolute disaster. Between the Monty Williams rotation question marks, injuries to Bogdan Bogdanovic and Jalen Duren, and the historic 28-game losing streak, nothing has gone to plan this far in Detroit. To add insult to injury, Cade Cunningham has now been injured for the past week as well, as if there wasn't enough to be disappointed about his Pistons fans. On a positive note, since bringing Jaden Ivey back into the rotation with adequate playing time, Ivey has looked really good. He has shown good flashes of on-ball creation for himself and others, but still has a tendency to turn the ball over and could use some improvements on his 3-ball. Nonetheless, glad to see that Jaden is getting heavy minutes and showcasing his potential. Even throughout the turmoil and pain they have gone through this season, the Pistons fans are still showing up, with an average attendance of more than 17,000 people for their home games, proving that there are still loyal, passionate fans that want to see their team make changes for the better. It will be interesting to see what those changes are. Will it be in the front office, a guy like Troy Lever? Will there be changes in the coaching staff? I don't think it's possible to cut ties with Monty Williams just yet, but with how bad this team has been, nothing should be off the table. Could it be changes in personnel? Perhaps guys like Killian Hayes or James Wiseman? The team should be choosing winning over development at this point, as they obviously do not want to end up on the list of the worst teams in NBA history, but they will need a lot to go right in the next 3 months to avoid it. The Detroit Pistons are huge losers in the first half of the season. The next big winners we should talk about are Will Hardy and the Utah Jazz. Since December 21st, the Jazz are 12-2, the best record of any team in that span. The Jazz also boast a top 5 offense, defense, and net rating in that time frame. What has been the key difference, you might ask? The guard rotation. Talon Horton-Tucker got injured on the 20th of December and would miss a couple of games. In turn, Will Hardy began expanding Chris Dunn's role as he would now start alongside Colin Sexton. Since Dunn's first game in the starting lineup, he has averaged 5 points, 6 assists to only 1 turnover per game, as well as 1.5 steals and 1 block per game. With Dunn's increased role in solid defense, THT has received DNP coaching decisions or garbage time minutes only as the team has flourished with Chris Dunn on the floor. Hardy has also seemed to find a lot of success with his guard pairings, as Chris Dunn and Colin Sexton have started together, followed by Keontae George and Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench together. The pairs are not exclusive, however, as many of the closing guard lineups can feature a mix of the four, typically with Hardy rolling with the hot hands for that game. Outside of the guards, the Jazz have a platoon of forwards that have been giving them valuable minutes. Kelly Olynyk has popped out a lot to me, as he is having a role player all-star type of season, averaging 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists, shooting a super efficient 43% from outside the arc. Simply put, the team is receiving large contributions from different players every night, which has made their success in recent weeks pretty exciting to see. I'm still undecided on where I expect this Jazz team to be after 82 games are played, but this is the second straight season they have been pleasantly better than anticipated. The Utah Jazz and Will Hardy are huge winners so far in this NBA season. My next loser has to be the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks were another team that many people had varying opinions on, as some of them saw them as a team that would finish inside the top 6, including myself in the Eastern Conference, and others saw them as a play-in team. As of the recording of this video, the latter would be correct, as the Hawks are the 10 seed in the East, 6.5 games back of the 6 seed Miami Heat. It's been a lot of the same for the Hawks this season, as they are top 10 offense and a bottom 5 defense, a similar story to each of the last 3 seasons. This is a team that is in need of true change, not in the coaching department, but in the form of a core shakeup. There have been many rumors in recent weeks about them listening to offers on DeJounte Murray, as well as other guys like DeAndre Hunter and Clint Capella. I'm not sure exactly who should be moved here or who will be moved, but when your 2 all-star level guards in Trey and DeJounte have a negative net rating, negative 4.4 to be exact, while sharing the floor together, it would probably be in their best interest to split up the pair for the long-term success of the team. On a positive note, the Hawks have to be ecstatic with what they've seen from Jalen Johnson this season. The third-year forward from Duke is averaging 15 points and 8 rebounds, while shooting 57% from the field and 40% from 3, all well above his career highs. Jalen has in 1 year developed into the player that the Hawks were looking for John Collins to develop into, a versatile stretch forward who can shoot the 3 ball well, catch lobs, and defend multiple positions, all of which Jalen has shown he is more than capable of. Look for this team to be very involved at the trade deadline, as time is running out for them to make a real run at the top 6 in the East. The Hawks are definitely losers in the first half of the season. I'd like to end this video on a positive note, so the last winner we'll talk about today is the fans. This season has the makings to be one of the very best in NBA history, as parity truly is at an all-time high. At this moment, there are only 6 teams I think everybody could agree will not be a part of the postseason in any capacity. The Pistons, the Wizards, Hornets, Spurs, Trailblazers, and Grizzlies. That leaves 24 teams that are actively trying to win games and gain ground on others for playoff seedings. I'm sure this number will dwindle a team or two by the trade deadline, but even so, many of the teams towards the play-in range are teams that we all had high expectations for in the offseason, and there's still a whole half of basketball to be played. The league still has its favorites, like the Celtics, Bucks, and Nuggets, but there are many others that are right there with them, like the Timberwolves, Clippers, Thunder, 76ers, and many more that could easily make a conference finals or more push if they stay healthy down the stretch. We've also seen a few teams that have been routine cellar dwellers the last few years, like the Rockets, Magic, and Pacers, rise up and start playing good basketball, a big breath of fresh air for their fan bases. All these elements coming together should give us exciting basketball down the stretch and set up for an amazing play-in tournament and playoff tree. Adam Silver, the owners, and the fans are all big winners thus far in the NBA season. That's going to be all for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for staying and watching all the way through. If you did enjoy, feel free to give the video a like. It would mean a lot to me. I'm going to try to make content more often. I really do enjoy making content. I just OCD very hard over the production and editing and want everything to be perfect, but I do promise you that more videos will be out soon. So without that, I hope that you guys all have a great day, and I hope to see you guys soon.